Bases dropped on a new edition of Soccer Down Here. It's a Saturday Power Hour edition of the show. Bayern Munich needs to find some power because they're trailing 2-0 to Eintracht Frankfurt in the 33rd minute. They've been having this issue a little bit here lately where they are falling behind. 2-0 is a little bit of an extra challenge, Bayern. Might want to wake up. Mönchengladbach and Mainz are 1-1. The other two matches in Germany are scoreless. Lazio's 1-0 over Sampdoria at halftime. In Italy, Elche defeated Eibar in La Liga 1-0. And a game we're going to start with, Southampton and Chelsea finished 1-1. And it took all of 6 games, but we've already got our moment to let's talk about Tuchel. What did he do? How could he do such a thing? Oh, my goodness, Thomas Tuchel, you've lost the team. He substituted Callum Hudson-Odoi after bringing him into the match, and here we go. He's already talked about it, and I'm sure there will be plenty more talking about it. It was one of the rare times you get the pundits on NBC Sports completely and utterly disagreeing on it. There's really not a whole lot else to it. He was subbed into the match, and then he was subbed out of the match. He played, about 30 minutes?
31, yeah.
31 minutes. Thomas Tuchel said, I was not happy with his body language or the attitude of the press. His attitude in pressing, his attitude in working. So he pulled him. You got a problem with it?
Nope.
Why do you not have a problem with it? Because why is the important thing here.
If a player isn't doing what you want him to do, and it's to the point to where you think it's a detriment to getting a result, then managers are going to do this. And I think that, to your introduction to the whole thing, it's like, oh no, Thomas Tuchel, it's, if it was another manager, if it was Ralph Hasenhüttl, would there be the same kind of elevated voice and outrage?
No, because people don't talk about Southampton like that, and Hasenhüttl doesn't have that same cachet, and they weren't waiting. They didn't have the knives sharpened to the side, ready to go. But there would be talk. There would absolutely be talk about it, because it's not common.
No.
It's not a normal thing. It doesn't happen on a regular basis. It's a fair question. It's a fair, yo, what happened? I think it's going to be overblown. I mean, depending on what else happens the rest of the day, and you do have a huge Liverpool-Everton match coming up here in a few hours, that will probably dominate the headlines. Let's say that's a damp, boring, scoreless draw, and there's not much to talk about. Thomas Tuchel will be in the headlines everywhere in England about this, and Callum Hudson-Odoi will be in those headlines. Look, it's embarrassing for a player. It always is, and I think you got Tim Howard's perspective from that this morning on NBC after the match. He was more worried about losing Callum Hudson-Odoi for some period of time. That's where I'll push back, because I understand that element, and you have to be careful with this. You don't just do this willy-nilly.
Right.
Because it can have a detrimental effect to that player's personality, their confidence, et cetera, et cetera. But you're there to win games. And if you're Thomas Tuchel and you're there and you pull Tammy Abraham at halftime, which was the move you made, and Tammy Abraham was your striker at that point, so you pull him at halftime. I'm assuming, and I wasn't watching super close at this point, Timo Werner goes up top, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So Werner goes up top. Marcos Alonso slides up into that situation, or Reece James slides up, and then you bring in Callum Hudson-Odoi. You're wanting him to do specific things here. You're wanting him to put in specific work. You equalized as well after that substitution, Mason Mount with the penalty. At halftime when you make the sub, and this part's been left out of the discussion, at halftime when you made it, you're trailing 1-0. You've pulled it to 1-1. Is it because of the move? Yeah, I mean, you could say that. You could argue it didn't really have an effect. Whatever, it's 8 minutes later. Fine.
Yeah.
But you're in a different position in the 76th minute where you bring in Hakim Ziyech, who is a more attacking player than any of the players you're pushing forward into those roles. That's why you went out and signed him. So, yes, Tuchel said he had an issue with Hudson-Odoi's body language. He had an issue with his counter-pressing, how much work he was putting into it, the attitude he was playing with in that regard. If he wasn't working off the ball, that's going to be a problem, especially when the game's 1-1 and you feel like you can go win it. Bringing on Ziyech at that point is to go win the game. That's a win-the-game move.
Yeah.
So that factors into it, too. And again, it's not common. It's not ideal. You got to be careful if you're the manager in these situations. But when you make that call 30 minutes after you bring him on, you know that, all right, first I'm going to have to talk to him. Second, I'm going to have to really try to boost him up here as quickly as I can to get him back, not just on my side, but just playing well and playing with confidence. I'm going to have to put in some work. But it's worth it to try to get the result here. Now, ultimately, they didn't. They did not win. If they had won the game, everything would have been tamped down a little bit more, especially if Ziyech had come on and had something to do with winning the game. Didn't.
Yep.
But this is going to be overblown, in my opinion. The thing now is Tuchel has to manage the relationship with Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Callum Hudson-Odoi needs to be a professional and not take it personal and understand that these things happen. The game situation changed. He needed something different. Boom. Now I got to go win my spot back. I got to go win my time back. That's the thing for me.
Yeah, and if as Hudson-Odoi is leaving, Tuchel makes the point to sit there and have the embrace with him as he's heading.
That's an important first step. It's a very important first step because you see it sometimes where managers just make the sub and they're so focused on everything else. That's part of the mindset. And look, that's something Tuchel struggled with in general, is just dealing with people. The coaching people don't really question about, but dealing with people, that's a good step. That's a good sign. And hopefully, of course, Callum Hudson-Odoi is going to be sitting in the stands disappointed, of course. And of course, TV's going to zero in on that and say, look at how sad he looks. Look at this. He looks very upset. Yeah, he's a pro. Mm-hmm. He wanted to play, and he didn't get to play very much, and he got subbed, and he had to make that long walk off. It's not fun. Doesn't mean it's going to be a problem next game. And Tuchel's got to do the things now, and it started with that sub. It then continued after the game. He probably needed to have a really long conversation with him and explain his thinking, what he didn't like about what Hudson-Odoi was doing, also what changed in the match. And like Tuchel said, tomorrow, there's nothing here. It's done.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. He's got to do that before they leave the stadium to fix whatever could be an issue.
Yeah, and I just, that first moment where you mentioned, some managers are so locked in what's going on at the other side of the game and what's going on in-game, you don't get that moment. Tuchel had that moment with Hudson-Odoi before Hudson-Odoi went up into the stands, and so I thought that was I'm glad the cameras locked in on that too, as much as they locked in on sad Callum Hudson-Odoi sitting 2 seats down from Tammy Abraham. So it's just like, look, he had the moment. Yeah, you're going to get that cutaway, but important first step for Tuchel.
Sad Callum Hudson-Odoi listening to... He would probably listen to some Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
Maybe a little Uncle Sam, I Don't Ever Want to See You Again. Maybe that was flashing through his head a little bit. One of the greatest breakup songs of all time. Uncle Sam from the mid-'90s. There's your throwback. I do not have the Bayern Munich match up. Our German correspondent and Austrian correspondent, Bernd, chimes in. Flick's tactics today, Byrne doesn't get it. It's a weird 4-4-2 with Choupo-Moting behind Lewandowski. It's not working at all. They're down 2 goals. I would assume they've got to make some changes at halftime. Yeah. So Byrne, is it kind of playing a little bit like a 4-4-1-1? The way it appears from the lineup, that would be my guess, is that Moting sitting behind Lewandowski and a 4-4-2, but you got your strikers stacked. Looking at the bench, I don't know how much you have to necessarily change this because the out list is a lot better than the list of players on the bench. That's a problem. And yes, Katie, Bayern Munich are big Atlanta United fans. They do have their own version of the King Peach. I don't know what peach would be in German, though. So go ahead and look it up, John. I know you want to. I know you're going to. You're going to pound on the keyboard and do that. Other things. So as we look ahead to the rest of the day, matches that have just kicked off, Burnley and West Brom, they are scoreless in the 13th. Unless you're a huge fan of one of these two teams, I don't know why you would want to be watching it. West Brom have lost their last 3 away from home. The relegation scrapping is going to be going on in a big way this weekend with this one. Burnley's in 15th, probably clear of the relegation scrap, but they are within 10 points of Fulham, so I don't want to completely rule them out yet. West Brom is right in the thick of the relegation scrap on 14, 5 points behind Fulham, who is the last relegated team at the moment. Fulham has a match of their own. They play Sheffield United, who is at the bottom of the relegation scrap and is 14 points from safety, and it's not happening, but they can play spoiler. And that match is at 3 o'clock today. Sheffield United have won 2 of their last 14 away from home. The numbers on Fulham are the ones that blow my mind. They have failed to score in 5 of their last 6 at home, and they have won 1 of their last 14. Now, they've picked up points in those because they are the masters of the draw.
Yes.
But you need 3-pointers, and you gotta have 3 against Sheffield United. When we went through the math, you had to have 3 here. This is a non-negotiable 3 points if you are Fulham. And if things go the way they should, according to the Juicebox purveyors this weekend, Fulham could end the weekend 3 points away from safety. Because Newcastle goes to Old Trafford tomorrow, where they have won once in their last 20 trips. They've failed to score in 5 of their last 6 away from home. And Manchester United, on the flip side, has only lost 1 time in their last 18 in Premier League matches. Numbers got to be pretty skewed in that one.
Yeah, and you mentioned the relegation scrappers. I think that West Brom has only won once in their last 11, so... it is definitely for the hardcore that are watching Burnley and West Brom. But yeah, the Newcastle number, by the way, just under a plus 1,000 going up against Manchester United.
Don't even touch it. Don't even touch it. Sean, there are a lot of other things.
For watching Scotland.
Say that again, Jared, as you crash the party. What's up?
And people call me a degenerate for watching Scotland.
Scotland is thrilling compared to Burnley and West Brom. Sean Vergara says there isn't anything else to watch. ESPN Plus has a bunch of things for you to watch. I have Atletico Madrid up on my television. You've got Bayern Munich in the throes of chaos, trailing 2-0 right now. You've got a number of games in the Bundesliga. You could go to Mönchengladbach and Mainz at 1-1 going into halftime. But Atleti is about to kick off in their match in Spain. Atleti is leading the table, and they are hosting Levante. Atleti's won 11 straight at their home ground, which has changed in that 11 straight, against Levante. And Atleti is undefeated in their last 22 at home. They should take care of it, but you never know. It's a lot more interesting to me than Burnley and West Brom.
But yeah, and then once the power hour is over, I'll be switching over to Aberdeen just to see what's going on with Aberdeen, who has not scored in their last 6 matches.
I was about to say, when you were talking about Burnley, I jumped in. I was like, are we talking about Aberdeen? Oh, no, Burnley. Burnley can't score goals either, apparently.
Yeah, no, and they have 2 of their big defensive players out. Gudmundsson and Brady are out today on the right-hand side, so it's it's a bit of a head scratcher for Sean Dyche and putting folks out there. But Burnley and West Brom, for those of you that have painted your house, and it gives you something else to do instead of watching it dry. Or maybe you should just watch the paint dry in your house.
Aberdeen and Kilmarnock's probably about the same. It's scoreless in the 17th minute at the moment, and when the description in the preview is two of the worst formed teams in the division go head-to-head at Pittodrie, well, there you go. Here's one for you.
See, this is accurate, though, because Aberdeen hasn't scored a goal since the Clinton administration, and Kilmarnock fired their manager a couple of weeks ago, and they basically have gone Big Sam style since they brought in an interim, and it's just been kind of like, hey, we're not going to get relegated, y'all, so we're just gonna set up a line here.
We're gonna hang here.
Yeah, we're gonna hang here for 90 minutes and take the point.
You mentioned the not scoring thing, Jarrett. I don't think you knew how bad it actually was. So 6 matches without scoring for Aberdeen.
Yeah, I knew it was 6 or 7.
6 is a new record. Never in their 118-year history have they gone 6 matches without scoring a goal until now.
If you're ever interested in getting deeper into this, you can always go check out the Here We Go podcast that the Aberdeen folks do. That's really good.
They've got to be really, really sad at this point.
Dude, it is. I listened to the one after the Celtic match because the Celtic match wasn't great. Like, Aberdeen went to sleep for the first 30 minutes. David Turnbull scores a 25-yard goal. And then the rest of it's just kind of like, it kind of turned into a pitch battle. It wasn't great. But I listened to their post-game, their reaction, and it was just, man, it's to the level of like being just resigned. Like, this is just bad. Yeah.
1-4-5 in their last 10, 4 goals scored, 11 given up. That is 11th out of the 12 teams in the SPFL.
It's not good. So in twice before in Aberdeen's history, as I read this preview back, and it just makes me even more sad. They had 5 game scoreless runs in 1973 and 1905.
Wow.
How did they end those 5 game scoreless runs? Both times? A 2-0 win over Kilmarnock.
Oh, wow.
So maybe they win 2-0 today. I don't know.
Aberdeen came into this with the juice boxes at a -$1.25, and Kilmarnock just under +400. So there you go.
Well, it is still scoreless 20 minutes in at Pittodrie. In Scotland, Livingston is up 1-0 on the road at St. Mirren, and Hibs are up 1-0. Hibs 1-0 up at home against Hamilton Academical.
And Hibs is in really good shape to keep that third place spot. They're not going to catch Celtic. Celtics won 5 in a row, so they're not going to catch Celtic for second place. But the SDH magic is working on Hibs.
So far, so good. We'll see if it continues to work on Defensa y Justicia. They are in action this afternoon in one of the games of the weekend in Argentina. 3:10 at Lanús. It's a rematch of the Sudamericana final from a couple weeks ago. It is Sebastian Beccasese's return to Defensa y Justicia, and you got 2 teams that won in the opening week in Argentina. So that, along with River and Rosario Central, are the 2 games, and that's a 7:30 tonight. That should actually be a really fun watch. Rosario Central was very good in week 1. River is coming off of a loss to Estudiantes, which was bad. And River has introduced their new boy band or reinforcements. It looked like a boy band presentation that they did. Like, the guys were all in their River polos and shorts, and you had D'Onofrio, the president, looking dapper in a suit, and you had Marcelo Gallardo looking like a manager with his a band manager with his blazer and like V-neck shirt. I mean, it's styling and profiling. 6 new guys. They re-signed.
Sure it wasn't a version of Making the Band?
It could have been.
Menudo.
They signed 6 of them, so we'll see. And then most of them are young, so they would fit as the Menudo group because you have to be a certain age. But you're supposed to see some of those guys tonight at home against Rosario Central. And it is the return to El Monumental because they have been doing renovations. They took out the running track. It looks pretty good, and the pitch looks amazing. The pitch looks immaculate. So that is on Fanatis tonight, fntz.co/soccer down here. Ricky Ricardo asked about Fernando Meza when he joins Defensa. He's registered now because the cutoff for registrations was this week. I don't know if he's fit to play. I need to go look. I'll see if I can find it, Ricky, before we're done. If they announced their list. What they generally do in Argentina and some other countries is they'll announce their game day roster the day before. So I doubt he's on it because I don't think he's probably trained with them much, if at all. But he's registered and could play. And we have some, I guess, kind of breaking news.
I love it!
Aberdeen goal. They have scored.
Oh, National Nightmare is over.
It is over. This is according to Badgermon. He has chimed in. I do not have the goal yet as to who got it.
Can we pull the Mike Conti Atlanta "It is over" as a drop for these sorts of things?
I don't have that handy, but they can get this.
Score!
Is that good enough?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay.
That's awesome. I like that.
That's what they get. It is 1-0 Aberdeen, and the goal is from Callum Hendry, again, with the assist in the 21st minute. They have finally scored, and like I said, the last two times they had these runs that were not quite as bad as they are now. They ended it with a 2-0 win against Kilmarnock in like 1905 and 1973. Are they going to do it again? That would be one of the weirdest stats in the history of sports.
Yes. Oh, that's tremendous, though.
Yeah, so if you want to go to the in-game bookie action and you want to find something on more goals for Aberdeen, there you go.
There you go.
Because the in-game odds, you want some whiplash? Oh, boy. Those can really get you caught up.
Yeah, Kilmarnock with possession in the 25th, and they're trying to get the equalizer, but Aberdeen has cleared, but not all the way out.
All kinds of stuff going on this morning around the grounds all over the world. We're at halftime in the German matches. Nothing's changed. Mönchengladbach and Mainz 1-1. Frankfurt is leading Bayern Munich 2-0. Freiburg, Union Berlin scoreless. Köln and Stuttgart scoreless. Lazio still leading 1-0 at home to Sampdoria. I left out our French friends. That is very sad of me. I'm sorry. Saint-Etienne and Stade de Reims are 1-1 at full time. They had an early kick this morning. So there you go. I don't think we have any Turkish fans. They had a lot of goals in Turkey this morning. Galatasaray plays at 11 o'clock. You can watch that on one of the BN networks, I believe, on Fanatis. Maybe one of the BN Connects. And we have another goal in Scotland. St. Johnstone is 1-0 at Motherwell. Is that good or bad, Jarrett?
Could go either way. It's not going to impact necessarily the top of the table, or it's not going to cripple the bottom of the table either.
Well, we haven't talked about the championship, and there wasn't an effect at the top of the table because Brentford lost this morning to Coventry City 2-0. They are in second. Coventry is not. Coventry's in 20th, but they got the win over Brentford. So that opens the door for third place Watford, who's level on points with Brentford, and fourth place Swansea, who is 1 point back. However, Swansea is losing at Huddersfield Town 1-0 in the 25th minute. Go ahead, blame Mindy Kaling.
The Colonel posted the lineup and said that it was pretty much the guys that were there midweek when they didn't get a whole lot done. So the Colonel was shaking his head when the lineup was announced a little over an hour and a half ago.
Sorry, Colonel. We have some subscribers to the Fanatis and the Twitch pitch. Very, very cool. Thank you, Colin. Thanks, everybody. Sean Vergara is a subscriber as well. Atleti and Levante are scoreless in the 8th minute. There's talk about Luis Suarez potentially leaving Atleti, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think he's got some kind of out in his contract. I think that's been washed away primarily, and one reason I think it could be washed away is now we've got a rumor out of Spain, but has made its way to England. James Rodriguez, not happy in England. Doesn't like the weather. Doesn't like the physical style of play. Doesn't like being in jolly old England. There was a question from Sean about why does the weather always look awful in England. It's real. James wants to leave because of it, according to reports. Defensa Central in Spain is saying that Rodriguez wants to go, and he wants to go to Atleti. Nearly joined Atleti before. He's been linked to them in previous years. He was in Madrid when he was with Real Madrid. He likes being in Madrid. Go across town to Atleti. You add James to that group? Ooh, Cholo Simeone might be just falling into some beautiful things with what this team could look like.
If that does happen, I think it would be a treat to watch Atleti with all of these weapons that are there. I mean, it's considering the defensive numbers that they posted and they have been posting up until recently. They've given up a handful of goals in the last couple of games, and that margin is now to 6 with a match in hand at the top of the table. But with all these toys that Simeone could have to score goals in addition to a stout defense, I think that'd be a great watch.
I like that when we're talking about teams who haven't scored in 6 games at historic levels, Sean Vergara chimes in that West Brom had a shot on goal. Woo! That's about the same level as Aberdeen having a historic not goal-scoring records broken. Because Big Sam's teams don't get a lot of shots on goal. It's pretty rare.
And Big Sam's going to be upset. He's going to be telling, no, slow down.
Slow down. What are you doing? You get crazy here. It's crazy.
Yeah, when you've got a free kick from about 20 and you just smash it right into the wall and it heads back the other way 20 yards.
Well, that happens to the best of us.
That's about par.
Yeah, that happens. It's okay. Big game later is Liverpool and Everton, 12:30 kick. Is that on NBC or is that on the Peacock?
That one is on NBC. The late game is on Peacock.
Okay. Is it on Big NBC or NBCSN?
Big NBC.
Okay. Big NBC for the Merseyside derby. Everton have not won at Anfield since 1999. What's your favorite song from 1999, John?
Oh, let's see. Let me see now.
Jarrett, you got to chime in on this as well.
As I got to look up. See, this is tough.
Were you a Livin' La Vida Loca guy, John?
No, probably Smooth from Santana.
Smooth from Santana with Rob Thomas. You like that one?
Yeah. Well, just because it was Santana and it gave a chance for Carlos to sit there and show everybody why he is a guitar virtuoso.
What about you, Jarrett? 1999. What's your favorite music?
I'm confirming right now. I'm going through and making sure that I was actually from 1999.
I know. I wanted to check myself. Okay.
I was alive in 1999, which I feel like is an upset for some people.
That is an upset for some people. There's some good. 99 was weird musically. Just looking at like the popular charts, man, it got all over the place at this point.
Accurate.
I am gonna go off the board, and I will pull. I believe he was a local. You Know What's Up by Donnell Jones. I'm gonna go R&B on y'all for my 99 pick.
Okay.
Underrated song.
Alabama and NSYNC had a single together.
Why would you even mention that, like in like public conversation, John?
Because it was one of the top 100 Billboard songs in 1999.
You skip over things like that completely. Because that was upsetting. Yeesh. On a number of levels.
No doubt.
It's true.
Yeah, you skip that one. Need your picture.
Well, I know No Use for a Name's More Betterness came out then if you liked punk of that era.
That's what I was looking for.
A little more melodic.
Yeah. Blink-182 had a big year in 1999, but I know they're not one of your favorites. That was their coming out period.
Now, I respect Blink-182 for being as an artist once called them, the gateway band from.
Yeah. People
don't jump right into like Black Flag and Rancid and the Ramones a lot of times. You need a gateway to get there. And Blink-182 and Green Day, those kind of bands were the gateways to get to the heavier stuff. Yep. So more power to them. No Use for Names in that same category. Okay. Rest in peace, Tony Sly. But
like 5 years before that, the first kind of wave of, I don't want to say pop punk because not all of it was, but popular punk maybe is a better way to put it. Like Green Day broke, but it was Offspring that was kind of the gateway a little bit for me because they got me to Rancid because I actually saw them play on the same bill. Oh. Rancid opened for Offspring at the Masquerade, and that was amazing.
Yes. See, when did this come out?
We're going to get back to soccer in a second, I promise.
Yeah,
we will. Don't worry
because we do have a big Sam.
No, New America came out in 2000, but say Bad Religion's New America came out in 2000, so that wasn't 99.
Okay, we have a Big Sam update. Big Sam update.
Yeah, red card, Semi Ajayi in the 30th. So West Brom will be a man down playing their incredibly attractive style against Burnley for the remainder of the match at Turf Moor.
Evil shenanigans.
Oh, no. That's no good. I feel really sad for West Brom.
Also, Battle of Los Angeles came out in 1999, so here's that.
There you go. That's a good call. It's been that long. It's been since Livin' La Vida Loca and NSYNC in Alabama were teaming up, and all these different things happened since Everton won at Anfield. However, Liverpool have lost their last 3 matches at home. However, Everton haven't they haven't lost in their last 7 away from home. So maybe this is the comeback for Blink-182? Does Everton play What's My Age again if they win?
To be fair, they put an album out a couple years ago.
I know. It'd still be a comeback.
I know, but this is very much, it feels like the whole incredibly stoppable force against object that is very easy to move.
I don't know where this game goes. I really have no idea what happens here because Liverpool's been so bad, but then they got to win in Champions League, but they didn't really dominate that game. Everton has been so all over the place that I believe in them, and then I'm told I shouldn't, and then they lose, and then I'm told, like, yeah, right, and then I'm like, well, yeah, I'm with you now, and then they win, and I'm like, okay, I believe in them again. Hamas is wanting to go to warmer weather, so, I mean, what's that? Is he going to join into the Blink-182 cover band at the end of the day, or is he going to stand on the sideline? I don't know. Everton's a plus 650.
Uh-huh.
I do sort of like that number. If I had a throwback Mott's apple juice box that probably was from 1999,
I was going to say
I might throw it on that 650. I'll take an Ecto Cooler on that. Yeah, I'll throw an Ecto Cooler on the plus 650 because I think Everton can win. Liverpool's a mess. I think Everton can win this game, but I don't know if Everton thinks they can win this game, so they probably don't.
Yeah. Your draw is basically a plus 400 in Liverpool, and then the odds are going down as we're speaking since the show started.
See,
but they're
start talking about these numbers.
Liverpool is a composited minus 227.
Jarrett, you went scoreless draw, correct?
I did because of all the build-up. It's one of those things. The more we build it up,
the more we talk about it, the more we think it's going to be crazy. It's going to be.
This could be something. I'm scoreless draw. Nothing really happens.
Then the song
like
will
5
be
shots in the game.
Yeah, it'll be like "Believe" by Cher or something is what they'll play after the game, and we'll all hate things.
Yeah.
Katie Weaver with a question. Pardon if already discussed, but is Christian Pulisic made of glass? And are we concerned, or is Tuchel being shady? I don't think Tuchel's being shady when it comes to Pulisic. I think Pulisic is not made of glass, but maybe balsa wood.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. But I think more than anything, if he's not going to be a regular in that team because Tuchel doesn't like players made of balsa wood or glass or thinly stretched rubber bands, he's going to have to go somewhere where managers are willing to enjoy the balsa wood. He's going to have to go somewhere next year. If he's not going to be a regular, he's got to go. And if it's on loan, that's fine. And I know, Chelsea paid a lot of money, and normally that doesn't see a loan kind of situation, but it's not normal times. I don't know if anybody's going to be willing to pay a lot of money for him right now because of the said balsa wood and thinly stretched rubber band situation. But somebody would take him on loan. He has an EU passport. You can figure out the financials of the salary. If he's not going to factor in at Chelsea, he's got to go somewhere. And Tuchel did kind of open that door up, which is a little surprising. I think Pulisic's delivered. I think he's been good at Chelsea, but he has been injured a lot.
Yeah.
And if you can't count on him regularly, then yeah, you think of him differently. It's a shame, but it's reality, and it's what managers have to do.
Yeah. By the way, I found my definitive answer for 99, actually. It's you mentioned the band. That was the year that The Kids Aren't All Right came out. So,
okay.
Which was one of the first songs friends of mine and I learned how to, all of us played different instruments just to try and learn how to play it. So,
that's cool. That's pretty cool. Offspring I got out of later on. They that one was fine. There was some other stuff that was fine. I hated Pretty Fly for a White Guy. I hated that nonsense.
That's fair. Americana's a great album, though.
Yeah, it was. There was some good stuff there, but I like Smash.
I get you later stuff. I don't disagree necessarily.
Yeah.
They opened for 311 at Lakewood one year, and I missed most of it because everybody was getting in the parking lot getting drunk before going to watch 311, who I didn't give a damn about.
I know a good friend is listening to the show who loves some 311, so them's fighting words. I've never been a giant fan.
It's been fighting words for a decade. This is nothing new to me.
I'm waiting for the slander on the Twitch pitch right now. I've never been a giant fan either, but Do You Right's one of my all-time favorite songs, so and that's an old one by them. But anyway, as we go deep into the music thread, the Music Down Here show will air, turn your things on for local listings at like sometime on a Tuesday night. Anyway.
It's an HD frequency. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's like on the HD3 channel that pops up occasionally if you're in the right place and you have your antenna pointed in the right direction. No Scrubs was Katie Weaver's 1999 song, which is a great one, actually.
That is a strong choice.
That's a
Do
good,
yourself
that's a good
favor
album,
and
too.
don't go listen to the Weezer covers from all that stuff when they covered No Scrubs.
Some of the Weezer covers when they did all those was fun. That one wasn't necessarily.
No, it was. I was very disappointed.
It was not good. Ricky Ricardo says, did you all know there are people who were born after 1999 who are 21 now? Thanks, Ricky, for making me feel really old.
I'm depressed now.
Yes.
And if you want a cover, go find the Whiskey Shivers cover of Sandstorm that I made Jason and then listen to one time.
Whiskey Shivers are pretty amazing. More songs from 1999 because I love when absolute random things turn into a thing on this show. Got Your Money by ODB. Totally agree, Ropes. Good call. Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters. Good call, Abby. Dandelions by Five Iron Frenzy. I need to look that one up, Chris Ashley. I do not know that one off the top of my head. I know of Five Iron Frenzy, but I can't tell you anything about them. Jarrett, can you?
No, and that's where I'm looking up songs from that year to see what I missed. Also, Will Smith's Wild Wild West. It was a part of that just abomination of a film.
That was hideous.
He also did Will 2K at that time. Don't forget about that one.
Oh, damn. I had a teacher in high school who went on a 30-minute rant one time about how, this is a literature teacher, who got upset that most young people will know Kenneth Branagh from that abomination of a film as opposed to his work as a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
Like when his version of Hamlet, if you like Hamlet, is brilliant. But most people are going to recognize him as the dude in the wheelchair with his steam-powered and a giant spider.
Make that money. Make that money. Stuttgart has scored on the road in the Bundesliga, 52nd minute at Köln. They're up 1-0. Bayern is back underway in the second half. They are still trailing 2-0 to Eintracht Frankfurt. And West Brom has gotten every bus sent to Burnley, and they are parking it and slashing tires and lighting them on fire, and it is scoreless in the 40th minute.
Yeah.
Doo-Wop, That Thing from Lauryn Hill, is Katie's 1999 song in honor of Everton having not won at Anfield since then. That's a brilliant album. I wish she had not gotten so weird that she couldn't do another good album after that. That's what happens when you marry a Marley.
Mambo #5 was 1999.
No. It was. 99, like 98 started to get weird. 99 is one of the weirdest years for what was popular because you had some like kind of heavy, you had some alternative stuff.
Blue was there. Nick is going to feel a ripple on this.
You had that sort of stuff, like really gimmicky pop. You had like legit boy band and pop singer stuff because Genie in a Bottle debuted in 99. You had I Want It That Way, which is one of the greatest pop songs ever done. Yes, I said that from the Backstreet Boys. It's one of the catchiest songs ever done. In a pure pop sense. It's in
Bad Touch.
You had stuff like that. I mean, it was all over the place. All over the place. Anyway.
Smash Mouth's All-Star.
Ragamuffin is yelling about Green Day right now, which is fun. It's fair. No, it's absolutely fair. First few records were great. I liked them less and less as things went on. Nimrod is completely underrated, though.
Yes.
Nice Guys Finish Last is a great song. Ricky Ricardo with a real question while we try to find rails to get back on this show.
Just give up.
I'm going to keep trying. Question about Giannetti. So this is the rumor from Vélez Sarsfield, their captain, center back Lautaro Giannetti, who is linked with a move to Atlanta United. Cesar Luis Merlo said that Atlanta was going to get 100% of the pass. Ricky's question said, is that because of his age and the lack of expected resale value? Yeah, I mean, it could be down to some of the negotiations, too. Atlanta might have said, yeah, we don't want to leave any of his pass with you. Velez might have said, we don't want to keep any of it because of the things that you say, which are completely valid. I mean, 27, he'll probably have another sizable move. And sizable in this case might be a few $1,000,000 going back to South America or something like that. So, sure, but is it worth holding up the negotiation at this point? Probably not. And he's another guy who's, Velez is going to try to do right by him. If he wants the move, they're going to try to accommodate him, I think. And getting 100% of the pass here for Atlanta, I mean, it's good for them to do it, but I don't think it's, I don't think it's any kind of weird situation. It's younger players, you want to keep as much of the pass as possible. Older players, you'll sell all of the pass, typically.
Yeah.
To John's point, the Alabama NSYNC song was "God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You."
Yes, it was one of those that they were doing at that time.
Man,
where, wasn't that? If I remember correctly, I think it was a NSYNC song, and then they did a version with Alabama.
Ooh, they did. Also, Goo Goo Dolls' "Iris" was that year.
Yeah, but the thing about the country groups coming into this play, because around that time too, you had the country groups that would do covers of R&B songs, and they do a country version of it, which some of those were incredibly comical. But anyway, some of them were actually okay. Music was weird in 1999. That's the last time Everton won at Anfield. That's why it came up. If you're just joining in and wondering why Music Down Here is actually on your Soccer Down Here network, it happens.
Like, what channel did I dial up this morning?
I don't know either. I don't know. But some love for Rage Against the Machine for that call. Ropes says that. And Calvert-Lewin is back in the lineup for Everton, so maybe they will win for the first time since 99 today. Maybe? Possibly? Maybe?
Perhaps?
Maybe?
Yeah, that was also the era of like Shania Twain crossing over hard from that country. This is like post Alan Jackson and Garth Brooks doing their
way
thing.
After that stuff,
But,
Sarah McLachlan had the big album.
Yeah.
She had a big album.
By doing a country version of Nobody Knows. I mean, 1999 had a lot of drugs involved.
Yeah.
But we thought that was going to be the future. What the hell was wrong with us?
It got weird when your top 10 has Cher breaking out the use of auto-tune, which we can all be very angry at her for doing that. T-Pain is not. T-Pain is happy because he got a career out of it. No Scrubs was number 2. Angel of Mine by Monica was 3. Heartbreak Hotel was 4. A lot of R&B at the top, but then you've got Baby One More Time with Britney Spears. You've got Genie in a Bottle, so you got that era coming. You've got Sugar Ray Every Morning made it into the top 10. And Livin' La Vida Loca. So you had the Latin thing emerging too, along with the pop singers on the female side emerging. You still had the boy bands. You had weird other things happening. 1999 was a weird place. And that's when Everton won at Anfield for the last time. We'll probably be looking back at music in 2021.
I'm going to go find out. I'm going to go find that starting lineup. Y'all do you. I'm going to go find that lineup.
Okay, you do your thing. Goretzka's coming on for Bayern in their match, and they have pulled one back. Score alert. Bayern has a goal, and no surprise, it is Robert Lewandowski. 2-1. Bayern trails to Eintracht Frankfurt on the road. Sané with the assist. Goretzka came on at halftime. So that's going to get on the television now. Atleti and Levante scoreless. We're going to skip over La Liga for the moment. We're going to go see what Bayern does as they throw everything forward at trying to rescue this game. What else is on your mind, John?
Well, there was a story that I came across that I thought was really cool.
Do I have to play the music and you have to dance?
No.
Okay.
No. This was just a
good,
a reminder of what soccer communities are for one another. And I put it in the timeline. And it's a story out of the Seattle Times. And a food delivery driver in Las Vegas. He went on TikTok, and he was having a real difficult time, making ends meet. And so he goes on TikTok and just is like, can you folks, when you're having stuff delivered to your home, can you please tip your delivery drivers? And there was one situation where hourly wage plus tip almost was counteracted by the fact that he had to pay to park to deliver this one thing. And so Riley Elliott is the guy's name. And he was delivering food in Las Vegas and posts a video to TikTok. And then Christian St. Croix sees the video, and then he releases it. And it catches absolute fire, and the soccer community rallied around this guy because he was wearing an old school Seattle Sounders jersey. And in about 72 hours, $40,000 came in from complete strangers in tips to this guy because of the video that he showed. It turned into a challenge from Seattle Sounders fans, LAFC fans, Portland Timbers fans, trying to one-up each other in donations. And it's gotten to the point now where he's been able to help other people with all the donations that he's been getting. And he can also put a down payment on a house. And there was a point back in August where he and his girlfriend were living in their car. That's how bad it was for this guy. But it's an article in Seattle Times, and I'll post it to the Discord. A really good read, and really cool, once again, how soccer unites itself around one another.
I love the music conversation going on in the Twitch pitch, because it is all over.
Where did it go? Where did it go?
I can't even try. You just had to be there. Great
I
stuff.
found the Everton-Liverpool game, by the way.
The 99 one?
And yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, who was in the lineup on 1999 when Everton last won at Anfield?
Okay, so this is Paul Gerrard in goal, Michael Ball, Abel Xavier, David Weir.
Oh, Abel Xavier, the great LA Galaxy center back, who was not great when he was at the LA Galaxy.
I butchered his name because I was just blitzing through it. Sorry.
Sorry, he's Portuguese, and it was horrible his time in LA.
I see now that it's Portuguese, and that was a terrible pronunciation. Richard Dunn, Irish player. Yeah. John Collins, Don Hutchison, Nick Barnby,
yeah.
Francis Jeffers, and Kevin Campbell, who scored the only goal.
Kevin Campbell. Okay, I thought you were going to say Tevin Campbell for a minute. Then I was going to have Tevin Coleman flashbacks and get all confused.
Who more often than once when I was at 92.9, somebody would accidentally call Tevin Coleman Tevin Campbell.
It was the greatest.
It was great. Also, this game had 3 red cards.
Shocker.
I just love what I just saw in this Bayern Munich game. Manuel Neuer just steps up to the top of the 18, casual like a center back, steps in a passing lane, starts a counterattack, and Bayern is now off. That is just amazing. He is so ridiculous, and we don't appreciate Manuel Neuer enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Jamie Redknapp was in that Liverpool team.
Who else was in the Liverpool team?
Let's see. Sander Westerveld.
This was just after the Spice Boys era of Liverpool. It was a little bit after that, but you still had some of those elements.
One of the red cards went to Steven Gerrard.
Ah, nice.
Who was a substitute. He came on in the 65th minute and got a red in the 74th minute.
9 minutes.
Young Steven Gerrard, feisty.
Eric Meyer, Titi Kamara, Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Dietmar Hamann.
Yeah.
Vladimir Schmecher. I'm sorry, it's Czech. I don't speak Czech. Jamie Carragher is in that team.
Wow, Carragher and Gerrard both super young.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. But the goalkeeper, Sander Westerveld, got a red card in the 74th minute.
How many red cards
at the same time
have?
That Francis Jeffers got a red card for Everton? So they were playing 10-10.
10-9.
Kevin Campbell scored in the 4th minute of this game. So they played 86 minutes with Everton leading. But they were dueling red cards in the 74th minute. Then Gerrard got one in the 89th minute. So the game ended 10-9.
That's awesome.
I hope we get stuff like that today.
I hope we do too.
Jeez.
Big NBC, that's the reminder.
Halftime report in the championship. The Colonel lets us know that Swansea has pulled one back. In stoppage time in the first half, Connor Horhane gets the goal. 1-1 Huddersfield and Swansea at the break.
Yep, Swansea came in at a plus 120, Huddersfield at a plus 260 in the composite. Huddersfield coming into the day was 20th in the table, and they are behind Nottingham Forest on goal difference. And so they're 5 points clear of the relegation scrap right now. That's coming into today.
And I flip away from La Liga, and Levante has scored on the road at Atleti. They lead 1-0 in the 35th minute.
Aren't you glad that none of us put juice boxes on anything today?
Yeah, it's been like this way for a week where it's just madness. So just going to sit back and enjoy it. Halftime with West Brom and Burnley. It is
You've
scoreless.
missed nothing.
You've missed nothing except for a red card for West Brom. The referee is issuing cards to the bench in Germany. Hansi Flick picks up a yellow.
And you get a yellow, and you get a yellow.
No, he just got one. It's just one, John. It's just a yellow. Tranquilo. It's not Oprah Winfrey yet. That might happen later. If it was in Argentina, it would have been like 5 all at once.
Oh, what was this? The game you were watching last night that went nuts?
It wasn't even like you say it goes nuts, and I'm like, it's a typical Argentine game. It was 3-0. It finished 10-9. You had cards flying everywhere. I mean, that's just common. That just happens. No real surprises there. You had in Ecuador, the first game of the season was a forfeit because one team did not have all of their players properly registered in time. Welcome to Liga Pro in Ecuador.
That's not good.
You did have bonkers last night, though, with Liga de Quito, and Goal TV was a fun watch with this one. Our boy Nino Torres was going nuts on it because Liga de Quito was comfortable. It was nothing to worry about. 1-0 at halftime, if I remember right. I flipped away. I come back to it, and it's 3-2 Liga de Quito's winning, and it's just madness against Nueve de Octubre. It's one of the great names of South American teams. Ended up 4-2 Liga de Quito. So for your Fanatis folks, you've got now Liga Pro in Ecuador back on Goal TV, and they show a lot of the games there. So those are always fun to watch. You've got Independiente del Valle in action on Sunday afternoon. You also have a few other big games on Sunday that I want to talk about before we wrap up, and I'm assuming we're going to go into stoppage time because it feels like one of those kind of days. Yep. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, Manchester United and Newcastle. Newcastle's about as bad as Everton. They've won one time at Old Trafford in their last 20 trips. They haven't scored in 5 of their last 6 away. Manchester United's been comfortable. Manchester United should take care of business there. That's why Fulham has to win today. Arsenal, Manchester City. Arsenal hasn't lost in their last 6 at home. That's good. City's won 9 of their last 10 against Arsenal in all competitions. That's not good. And City's won their last 12 in a row in the Premier League. And are they up to 15 or 16 in all competitions?
16.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Absurd. Tomorrow
on is a game day decision, I think.
Tomorrow morning early, you've got Barcelona and Cadiz. Cadiz beat Barcelona back on December 5th at home. This one's in Barcelona. The Blaugrana have won 7 in a row in La Liga, and Cadiz have conceded at least 4 goals in their last 3 matches. Let's take the over. Yeah, that's not good.
That's outstanding.
I know. You've got Madrid and Valladolid later today at 3 o'clock. Madrid is on the road. They have every player injured. I think they've had like 40 injuries to 20 different players this season.
I was going to say, who is healthy in this match?
I think Zidane's like third son is going to be in the team because he has to be. I mean, I don't even know if he's of age at this point. I mean, that's what it's turning into for Real Madrid. But they've won their last 3 in the league. They keep finding ways to get something out of it, and we'll see if they can do that. Valladolid has been bad. They have not won in their last 6 in La Liga. Bayern's still chasing an equalizer. There's plenty of time. It's the 64th header wide. Eintracht Frankfurt is holding on to 1 lead right now in the Bundesliga. ESPN Plus, and it is recommended because business is picking up there.
Mm-hmm.
Italy tomorrow is going to be a fun day, and it starts at 9 o'clock. Milan and Inter. Nick, if you're listening, you might want to put it on mute for a minute. Inter have only lost one of their last 17 away from home. Now, remember, they do play in this building on a regular basis, but they are the away team in this one. Inter have won 5 of their last 6 against Milan in all competitions. However, Milan have scored at least 2 goals in 10 of their last 12 at home. So maybe there's some goals in it. We'll see if Lukaku and Zlatan throw handbags at one another again, and Zlatan gets away with racial insinuations. We'll see if he can pull that one off again. That's a magic power of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. What are the juice box numbers on Milan and Inter?
Inter is a -101, and AC Milan a +280, and your draws a +270.
Yeah, it feels about right. I mean, Inter's the favorite here. They're in better form. Took care of him last time. I'd love to see Milan pull this off, but I don't know if they're going to. Inter has been much better than Milan here lately. That's at 9 o'clock. Is that on ESPN Plus, or is that on one of the ESPN channels?
Efforting.
Okay. John will let us know. The other big game in Italy is at noon, Atalanta and Napoli. Atalanta's in great form. They've lost 1 of their last 13, and Napoli has an injury crisis on the level of Bayern and of Real Madrid. It's like everybody that you would like to be in the lineup for Napoli is not. They are injured. So, yeah, it's not good. And it's not good for our boy Gennaro Gattuso.
Gattuso should play.
He might have to.
He should just suit up.
He might have to. In Serie B, you have the owner of the team on the bench as the manager this morning for a team because I guess there isn't anybody else to do it. So he's down there running it. It's always good. See how that works out. You also have a huge game tomorrow afternoon in Brazil. Inter and Milan is on ESPN+.
It's on the Plus.
Thank you, Tim.
Yes.
Huge game, 2 o'clock tomorrow in the Brasileiro. Flamengo and Internacional. Top 2 teams in Brazil, just like in Italy here. Top 2 facing off, except there's only 1 more week of the season in Brazil. Internacional is on top by a point. They have a significant goal differential advantage, so Flamengo needs a win here. Flamengo has been very good at home. They've only lost 4 times in their last 37 matches at home. That's the last 2 seasons. They've won their last 4 in a row at home against Internacional. Both teams have been scoring a ton of goals lately. This will be one to watch. This is not Palmeiras garbage Brazilian football. It should be fun. I'm very hopeful of this. I make no guarantees because it's in Brazil and sometimes things get weird in Brazil, but it should be fun. What are the numbers on it, John?
What game, sorry?
Flamengo and Internacional.
Flamengo -132. Internacional's north of +400, and your draws are +250.
The top team in the league now, Flamengo's won their last 4 at home against them, and Flamengo's the home team here. But the top team in the league is a +400 on the road. I'm taking it. I'm taking the. What would a good Brazilian juice box be?
Ooh.
It's something exotic. It's a fruit that we're not accustomed to. Whatever Brazilian juice box I could get my hands on before the game starts. I think mango's not exotic enough, Hutcho.
Acai?
Do you do an acai juice box? I guess you
Guarana?
could. Just acai. Guarana, maybe. Something. Oh, wow. Okay, Burned went in a completely different direction. Maracuja? Is that even remotely like what I'm trying to say? Caprina juice box? Badger wins. I will take the Caprina. I don't even need it in a juice box. I'll take it in a glass. I will take the Caprinas and put them on Internacional to shock the world and win at Flamengo. And if not, I'll just have the Caprinas and I'll be in good shape. So all good. Do you know what a Caprina is, John?
I have no idea.
Jarrett, do you know what a Caprina is? I think Jarrett will know. He's probably working a mute button, or he left because he's like,
he's
this
probably
show's
working a mute
stupid.
button. National cocktail made with cachaça, sugar, and lime.
Yes.
Prepared by mixing the fruit and the sugar together, then adding the liquor.
They're very good. Very tasty. When they're done correctly, they're very, very tasty.
So are you? You're a on the rocks guy with this?
Yeah, and for this, yeah.
Because some folks will do crushed ice versus cubed.
I'm doing on the rocks. Bayern should have just equalized, but they did not. Kingsley Coman could not find the handle. The pitch is not exactly pristine at Eintracht Frankfurt today.
So it's not quite 100%?
A little chunky. Chunky.
But yeah, I actually, it looks very good, but I will trust you when it comes to flavor and effort.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make a Virgin Caprinia for you. They could, I think. I mean, if you're mixing everything before you add the liquor, then yeah, you absolutely could, and you would get a sense of it. But Caprinias are a little dangerous, as Katie Weaver says, because they're so tasty. Yeah. They're very good. Other in Mexico, and this is one I'm sure John will be watching at 8 o'clock on Sunday. I don't think it's on one of the FS 1s or 2s because it's at Tigres, but maybe it is. Tigres and Tijuana. This should be a good one. Xolos are undefeated. They got 3 wins and 3 draws. They're in 4th place in the table. They're 1 point off the lead. Tigres had their run to the Club World Cup final. It may be a little bit of a hangover. They need to reset. They've only got 5 goals in 5 games in Liga MX. That should be a really fun Mexican match.
As of right now, Tigres, big favorite, minus 192. Tijuana, a plus 538, and your draws a plus 307. That's the third of 3 matches on the day. You have not quite a Sábado Gigante, but you have an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock tonight with Cruz Azul, big favorite against Toluca, and Atlas and Club America at 10 o'clock.
This show has had mentions of Rage Against the Machine and 5 Iron Frenzy and 311 and Britney Spears and Caprinas and now Capiroscas, which is a Caprinia with vodka rather than the cachaza. Thank you, Bernd. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I might have to sample this. Bayern is still chasing. They're in the 72nd. They are looking for an equalizer, and they have not been able to find it as of yet. Looking to see if there's any other updates on scores. Aberdeen and Kilmarnock are underway in the second half. It's still 1-0 Aberdeen. If that finishes 2-0 against Kilmarnock, I'm going to die laughing.
Tigres and Tijuana's on Tudene.
Tudene, yeah. I didn't think the Fox networks had Tigres home games. I knew they had Tijuana home games, but this one is at Tigres.
Yeah, second half underway at Patadri and Kilmarnock.
Just said that.
Yeah.
Just said that.
47th, coming onto the 48th minute, still 1-0.
Thank you for the 3-minute update, but thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I can give you a 4-minute update if you want.
No, we're good, Jarrett. We're good. Do you like the Caprinas, Jarrett? You didn't answer.
Do I like what?
Caprinas.
I think I've had one.
Okay. I'm told by Bernd that you need to try a Caparosca, which is a Caprinia, Brazilian drink. Take the Brazilian liquor out and add vodka.
No, I don't touch vodka. Vodka hurts.
Really?
Yeah. I have bad experiences with vodka.
That's me
I'll
and
try
tequila.
it the Brazilian way, for sure.
Yeah, you need to try the
Vodka.
Brazilian way.
Yeah, I'll do that for sure. But vodka hurts me. Me and vodka.
Weird.
We don't talk anymore.
You're not on speaking terms?
Vodka's just there for me. And it depends on what I'm doing with it and like how much of it there is. But
I prefer rum. So
I do too. Absolutely. The quality of the vodka can really make a big determination. Is it in a plastic bottle? Is a big stumbling block.
Peach in German is Pfirsich, by the way.
Pfirsich. So they are wearing the Pfirsich kits.
Yes.
So I guess that is peach for Bayern. They need to win in those because, come on. We have a standard to uphold here, Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
We have a standard, folks.
Come on, yo.
I think we'll hang around for the end of the Bayern game since nobody's in a rush because this one's been kind of fun to go back and forth on. And we even have some breaking news. I do like the tweet from our friends down in South Florida. Since he could do it on a cold, wet, windy night in Stoke, welcome to Enter Miami, Ryan Shawcross. That's pretty good. It is now 100%.
I hope his first
official.
game is a night game in Minnesota in April.
He'll be right at home. It'll be okay. Or in the Pacific Northwest, I guess.
There you go.
That could work. The quote from Chris Henderson, the chief soccer officer and sporting director, Ryan fits the Enter Miami DNA because of his experience and his longevity at a club. He's going to be able to come here and be a leader, not only on the field, but his leadership will be seen with the young players and the players coming through. That's what I think this is all about. I don't know how much he plays. I don't know if it's significant. I think if Miami is playing their best, he probably won't play significant minutes, but I think he will be an auxiliary member of the coaching staff and a leader in the group, and he will set an example. That's good. And Badger's very upset with you for insulting Stoke by comparing it with Minnesota, Jared.
I mean, yeah, but it's just this.
You sound really.
I have always been I've always kind of laughed at the idea of like the cold, wet, windy night in Stoke, as long as like Inverness Caledonian Thistle exists, or as long as you might have to one day play MLS Cup in December in Minnesota. And I would wager that the wrong night in Minnesota is worse than the wrong night in Stoke.
Eesh.
I would wager that if he can do it on a cold, wet, windy night in Stoke, can he do it on a hot, humid night in Fort Lauderdale? Because that's a little different and equally bad.
And let's think about it. It's South Florida. Any of us who grew up watching Braves on TBS know that it will rain before the game. It will storm before the game, before an 8 o'clock kick on prime time. It will still be in the 80s. It will have just finished raining. You can cut the air with a butcher knife.
Matching humidity to the temperature.
Yes.
I think every time Atlanta United has played in Orlando, that has happened.
Like, the temperature will be in the triple digits, and somehow the humidity, defying all logic and defying all science, will somehow be like 102% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be, because that will be the other fun question to ask here is, what's worse, the freezing cold or the insufferable humid heat where you can't breathe?
Yeah.
Well, he'll be able to tell us. This has been a great debate for years and years and years, and Ryan Shawcross will be able to explain this one to us because he'll get the experience of both sides of it. Bad news in Huddersfield. Huddersfield Town 2-1 up now on Swansea. Jordan Morris checked into the game at halftime. 2 subs for Swansea at halftime, and they conceded 2 minutes later to Lewis O'Brien. Huddersfield Town 2, Swansea 1.
Harumph. Cardiff leading in the championship as well. They're up. Norwich is up over Rotherham. Nottingham down at the bottom of the table leading Blackburn. Middlesbrough up 2-0 at Reading. Jessica Charman, I'm sure, is not pleased. And Stoke up over Luton Town. Everybody else is scoreless. John Nason's Coventry City won this morning as a big underdog.
We covered that.
Yes.
They beat Brentford. That opened the door for your Swansea City that you are somehow tripping and falling face first into said door.
Yes, it's like Daffy Duck in the Robin Hood cartoon, where he's trying to swing down the vine and he keeps hitting the tree. Each and every time he swings down the vine, he hits another tree. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah, that could work too. Bayern's doing a little bit of that as well. 2-1 still. Eintracht Frankfurt leading 79th minute. Eintracht Frankfurt is looking dangerous on the counter, and that was a horrendous dive to try to get a penalty. He fell down and then grabbed the back of his head and is kicking. Like, he's looking for anything possible here to get this. It looks like he stumbled. He did get clipped as he fell down in front of the Bayern player on the ground with the Bayern player's leg.
You got to watch Richie Larea to get good at that sort of stuff.
Yeah, this was Richie Larea watched this and threw things at his television for how bad of a dive it is. It was such a bad dive that he fell in front of a player and got kneed in the back of the head.
Yes.
There's nothing there.
That's
it's going to get
justice.
looked at for sure. Of course, Eintracht Frankfurt wants it. The knee to the back of the head, there's nothing that can be done to avoid that. It's going to get looked at. I don't think there was anything to lead to a penalty here. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I don't think there was anything there. Alphonso Davies was the player chasing back. It looked Davies hit him in the back of the head while the guy's on the ground. That part's done, but it looked like the dive was trying to draw the penalty, and then he ended up getting hurt because he got hit in the head.
Jeez.
I mean, I don't like to laugh about people getting hit in the head, but he dove in front of somebody who was running. There's only so much you can do, right?
Yes.
Ragnar Ache is the player who was hit in the back of the head. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything from this. Yeah, it's going to be a throw for Bayern. That was a good bad attempt to try to get a penalty.
Yeah. Cuppers mentioned the Callum Hudson-Odoi situation. We didn't get to hear what Jarrett thought about it if he saw it this morning about Thomas Tuchel subbing Callum Hudson-Odoi 31 minutes after he was brought on at the half. And so, Jarrett, did you see or hear about any of this stuff this morning with Chelsea and their draw? Jarrett,
doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
all right.
Pretty much. Davies with a cross blocked, and it's a corner for Bayern as they throw everybody forward now going into the 82nd minute. Johannes thought they were going to call a penalty there. I didn't think there was anything in it. He was trying to find contact to go down. And then if they'd called the penalty for him getting hit in the back of the head after diving, that would have been amazing. That would have been a new standard for ridiculousness.
And you're still not missing anything with Burnley and West Brom. Kilmarnock just had a chance saved in the 56th. It's still 1-0 Aberdeen.
Players are falling down all over the place on this cow pasture at Eintracht Frankfurt.
The chunky turf at Eintracht Frankfurt?
Yes. It does not look good. Bayern with a couple of subs throwing all that they have left, and they didn't have much left on the bench to even start with here. ESPN Plus, if you are wondering what we are talking about and rambling about, along with other things.
The noon game or the 12:30 game in Bundesliga, you know how we like to talk about big numbers sometimes just to see how big a number can get.
Sure.
Dortmund and Schalke at 12:30. Dortmund a minus 312. Schalke a plus 880.
I thought it might be worse, actually. I've learned a new phrase today from our friend Johannes. I'm going to destroy the pronunciation. I apologize to Bernd and Johannes and any other German speakers who are out there. This pitch is a Kartoffelacker. That is a potato pasture. That's even better than a cow pasture. I like it.
That's great.
I like it.
I like that.
Timmy Chandler is still at Eintracht Frankfurt, Katie. He is on the bench and has not featured in this match. They have 2 substitutions left as Bayern continues to bomb forward. I mean, they're getting opportunities. They're getting into the final third pretty well. Lewandowski's trying to turn against 6 players.
That hadn't stopped him before.
Shot from distance, looking for a deflection, doesn't find it. Still plenty of time. 84th minute now. Nicholas Süle with that shot. Lewandowski nearly redirected it.
Ooh, Pereira just missed for West Brom. Down a man. They were almost up 1-0 in the 58th.
Ooh.
Offense from a...
I know, it's shocking.
Someone shot a ball. Let's see. I thought there was something else that was incredibly insightful about the games I was watching that I was going to talk about, but it just decided to drift out of my head.
Must not have been that insightful.
The Fulham Sheffield United match, that'll be on Peacock. Remember the Merseyside derby's on Big NBC,
right,
leading into the hockey game at Lake Tahoe.
Oh, yeah.
And that's they got a game today and a game tomorrow. I think Colorado and Vegas is the game today, and then there's an Eastern Conference game at Tahoe tomorrow afternoon on NBC.
So for those of you who are listening to us yammer on and watching Bayern and Eintracht Frankfurt, it's situational at this point because Eintracht Frankfurt's sitting back deep and they're just trying to protect what they have. They are getting out when they can. Bayern's throwing everything forward. But look at how Bayern's doing it. They are still staying true to some positional play ideals here. They're keeping the width. They're keeping players spread out. I mean, even as the build-up starts with the three back right now as they're trying to play out, now 4, 2 center backs, and you got your outside backs. You're trying to stay spread. And Eintracht Frankfurt's not just parking buses either. I mean, they've got 5 in the attacking half right now 6 putting some pressure on, and they force a turnover. The German mentality and the way the game plays out is really interesting with these because if it was West Brom, Eintracht Frankfurt would be sitting all back in their own 18, but they're able to get up and down and affect the game more. They do close on Lewandowski, but they're also getting out and making it difficult for Bayern to build up a competent attack. It's a fun little game within the game. Another shot saved pretty easily there. I mean, your stats in this, just to get a sense of it, Bayern's had 59% of the possession. They've outshot Eintracht Frankfurt 18-12, both with 5 shots on target. Bayern's passed at 82%. Defensively, Eintracht Frankfurt with 21 tackles versus Bayern's 9. They've been a little more active.
Oh, and just a note out of the Premier League, the Burnley-West Brom match is the first match that Mike Dean is back as center ref. And right now it looks like he's having a discussion with Pereira from West Brom and Brownhill from Burnley, telling them both to stop it, as Burnley looks like they're going to have a set piece from about 25 or so.
Mainz with a late goal at Mönchengladbach, 86th minute, Kevin Stöger. 2-1 for Mainz, and now they are into stoppage time. Mönchengladbach, not a good result there. Bayern still chasing, 87th minute.
Huddersfield has scored 2 more. It's now 4-1 in the 60th against Swansea.
What are your boys doing?
I'd like to know.
What are they doing?
Yeah, that's definitely a Seinfeldian.
The door has opened with Brentford losing today, and your guys have a concussion now from falling headfirst into it.
And Jordan Morris is down injured.
That's always fun. Oh, a clear header at the top of the 6 for Bayern. They put it over the bar. A clear header. A little pressure from behind him, but oof. Yogi Love sitting in the empty stands watching. At least he's got a mask on over his nose and not getting into trouble with that.
Yeah.
Multiple things. If you've watched Yogi Love on the sideline before, you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. And it looks like it's 3 goals in 9 minutes for Huddersfield, Lewis O'Brien, and then Dwayne Holmes with a back-to-back. So Dwayne Holmes with a brace.
Holmes with a couple of goals.
So that's where we are. 4-1 with plenty of time left on the board. But, Jordan Morris down injured, so we'll have to obviously keep an eye on that.
Pride of Columbus, Georgia, Dwayne Holmes. Born in Columbus. Didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, I might have to track him down.
You didn't know that?
Off the top of my head.
That's not good. Eintracht Frankfurt, 89th minute. They are still in the lead, 2-1. What would this do to the Bundesliga table as Bayern tries to get out of their own half and they do find an escape route? Bayern has a 5-point lead at the top of the table right now as they enter into the final third. They have a 5-point lead over RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig would obviously have a game in hand after this is done. If this finishes with it as a loss, it would still be a 5-point lead. Wolfsburg is 7 points back. This would put Eintracht Frankfurt, if all the scores currently hold, into fourth and into a Champions League spot on 42. They would jump Leverkusen. Dortmund is a good ways back in sixth. RB Leipzig, as you start to look ahead to what they could do with this, they go to Hertha Berlin tomorrow. Hertha is in 15th place, just out of the relegation battle, but they're on 18. They're level with Bielefeld on that. You would expect that RB Leipzig would go and win that, which would cut it to a 2-point. Eintracht Frankfurt nearly just scored another one. That would cut it to a 2-point lead if RB Leipzig goes to Hertha Berlin and wins tomorrow, as they should.
Yep, 49-47 at that point with
Big
22
save.
matches played.
Big save from Neuer right at the 90-minute mark. Corner for Eintracht Frankfurt. Don't think we know how much stoppage time is there yet. We're 10 seconds into it. Yee.
I mean, seriously, how underappreciated is Manuel Neuer?
Well, right now he's losing, so we're not going to get into it too much at the moment as he throws the ball out 40 yards. He's not underappreciated. I don't think that's fair. I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is. I mean, making a save, being a goalkeeper, he's appreciated. It's the other things he does. He's appreciated. I mean, I think maybe the better question is he appreciated enough historically as one of the best goalkeepers of all time? One of the best right now? Nobody's arguing that. One of the best ever? I think he could end up being the best ever by the time he hangs it up. John Dolazar says the Goretzka for Roca sub at halftime really changed the match. Bayern's been missing Müller and Goretzka terribly. They appear to be able to survive without one of them, but when they've played without both, it's been a bit of a rough go. I would agree with that. YouTuber says for Dwayne Holmes, Octavius is a pretty metal middle name for Dwayne Holmes. That's pretty outstanding. Neuer clears it long again. Did we ever get how much stoppage time was indicated? We're almost 2 minutes into it. I don't believe they have it yet. Eintracht Frankfurt's trying to make a sub. Bayern is having to get super direct at this point, and it might work out for them with their numbers here. Eintracht Frankfurt not parking the bus. Oh, Bayern loses possession. They win it back. We'll see if they can find a way through, but they are running out of time. It's over 2 minutes into stoppage time now. It's getting very frantic on the potato patch.
DeAndre Yedlin with an assist. So
where
now Galatasaray.
Thank you. People might not have known that. That was kind of random inclusion there. Thank you.
Yeah, Galatasaray. So an assist for DeAndre Yedlin, and they now lead Alanyaspor in the 25th 1-0. With that assist, here's how your table looks at the top of the Superliga. Galatasaray at 51 points, ahead now on goal difference by 3 over Besiktas, by 9 over Fenerbahce. All three teams with 51 points. Trabzonspor is 4th at 48. That's your live Superliga table update with the DeAndre Yedlin assist giving them a lead.
Thank you. 4 minutes of stoppage, and we're in the final minute of it now. Eintracht Frankfurt is trying to set up shop in Bayern's half. They're not going to be able to do it, but you're out of time if you are Bayern Munich here. And now the potato patch might have claimed Boateng, who is injured, but there's no time to do anything about it. He went down and did not look good at all with that situation, but he's got to make a long throw here. Probably one more go for Bayern as they send it long and hope. And it is still up for grabs. They almost found it. They might still find it. Still in the final third. Looking for the final ball. Oh, to the back post, but overhit it. It's going to be it. Lewandowski was coming back from an offside position. He had run over the end line to try to save it. They had chances there at the very end. 2 really good chances, really, at the very end. Just out of reach with 2 crosses. So close. Lewandowski was trying to get on that last one. Boateng was the one coming back. So close. And that's going to do it. The Bundesliga is officially up for grabs as Eintracht Frankfurt gets the win. The table now that's gone final. Bayern Munich, 49 points through 22 matches. RB Leipzig, a game in hand over everybody in the top 4. They are on 44. Wolfsburg on 42. Eintracht Frankfurt now on 42 in the final Champions League spot. Leverkusen 6 points behind that, 36. Dortmund on 33. Going to get interesting in Germany. This was fun. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We will be back this weekend with, you have to just turn your notifications on, an Argentine game of possible selection, a couple different ones up for grabs. We'll talk through it, give a little bit of an English second screen for you for your Fanatis broadcast. Make sure you've got your Twitter notifications on and your Twitch notifications on for that. I'll also give the subscribers a heads up in our Discord on which game that's going to end up being. But thanks for hanging out. A lot of fun, a lot of music talk, a lot of Bundesliga talk. Watch out for the potato patch, and Mucha Platio.
Mucha Platio.